My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today we're going to talk on a pretty personal topic, but this is also something that unfortunately, I have heard too many times this past couple weeks. So if anybody feels called out, just so you know, I have felt exactly the same way, and it hit me pretty hard because I was like, oh man, I need to talk more on this. And so this topic today is when clothing ruins your day. And okay, let's talk about the silent struggle. You all know, or maybe you don't know, but I'm venturing if you've listened to this podcast, you know the moment in the morning when you open up the closet and the battle begins. You pull at clothes and you put different things on. You put things on that actually don't fit or are not comfortable. You maybe change your outfit 3-4 times, and you hate the reflection that you see in the mirror. And here we are starting the day, already upset, already defeated, and before anything else has even happened. And this isn't about just the vanity, right? This is about how we carry the extra weight, the emotional weight, the low confidence that seeps into every part of our life. See, this isn't just about, I put some clothes on in the morning and I got frustrated. This is now how you show up as a parent. This is now how you show up in the office. This is now how you show up to your partner. And it bleeds into everything that we do. And we give ourselves that pep talk. I remember vividly myself putting on a multitude of stretchy Lycra pants and the long cardigan. And I told myself I was fine. I told myself it was okay. You've had 2 kids. You're 40, right? Like, this just is what it is. This is what we look like now. And I remember, quite frankly, just being like, it's okay. and you know, behind closed doors, I would tell you I wasn't okay. And for me, it really took a moment in time and space where we had family photos, and we got the family photos back. And I mean, the kids were so cute, and, you know, everything looked so good until my eyes were drawn to my legs. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I really that big? And I remember going, not even like understanding how much weight I had actually put on my body from a physical standpoint until I saw those photos. And I think for a lot of women, that can be the eye-opening moment. But the emotional toll of every single morning getting up and having that battle with the mirror, it sits on your mind. It is not just this like unhappy feeling. It's something that we carry with us through our entire day. And here's what happens. It turns into avoidance. We avoid social gatherings. We skip pictures. We put a kid in front of us in those pictures. We duck out maybe at the pool party invites. I mean, it impacts so many things, and it turns into this comparison. I know we can scroll social media and we can say, gosh, it must be nice. And even myself, I've looked at other people in the fitness health space and I'm like, what is she doing? And again, you just quietly sink deeper into almost this guilt, this shame, this what's wrong with me. I know for myself, that was honestly the feeling that I had was, God, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm in this space. Like, why do I feel this way about my body? And again, quickly, I could justify it, I could dismiss it, and I could say, well, you've had 2 kids, you've had a lot of stress, you run a business, like this is 40. And I think for a lot of us women, we can put ourselves in that camp. And then what happens is we start to disconnect. We disconnect from our spouse, we disconnect from our kids, from our work. And this is because we don't feel like ourselves anymore. And I remember this space so vividly going, God, is this really it? Like, is this just how I'm going to feel now? And so there has to be a point. There has to be a point in our life where we have just this hard realization, this hard truth that nothing changes until you decide that you're done letting your body dictate how you feel, your worth, how you show up. But we all have to have this moment. And for most of us, it is just this final straw. It's this absolute, I don't want to say disgust, because I know I'm probably like swinging with this topic here, but I can only speak on it because this is how I personally felt. And here's the thing, I'm not too different than most women out there, but I want to install in you what can actually happen. Because you don't need another Monday to restart. You don't need another diet, another app, right? You don't need another temporary fix. You need to reconnect with the woman that you want to be, the one who feels strong, the one who feels confident, the one that just feels so good inside your own skin, okay? So there's a lot in what I just said, and it's easier said than done. This is where I am going to tell you it does help to have someone competent, someone who's been through this journey to help you really connect the dots. But the most important thing you have to have is you have to have this almost coming to Jesus moment in your life that you're like, I'm done. I'm done settling. I'm done with the status quo. And here's the very, very, very important part of this. You're willing to do the work. You're willing to do the work when you really don't wanna. See, I remember earlier this year when I was still hanging out around 133 pounds, 24% body fat, and I was fine. By most people's standards, I was absolutely fine. But for me, I knew I could go a whole nother level. And I'm going to tell you that those first 3 months of the year when I was really trying to work on stabilizing my hormones, see, I personally had been on birth control for almost, I think it was right at 20 years. And I didn't know if I had completely wrecked my hormones, but I also knew that my hormones were non-existent based on recent labs. Basically, I had put myself into a artificial menopause, and I thought the night sweats were normal. I thought just being numb was normal. I thought, our sex life was good enough, right? And I thought we were fine. And then it really hit me in those first 3 months, like, whoa, hello, hormones. And not in a good way, just being genuine. Those first 3 months that I really started to optimize and get after my health, I was pretty beat up, pretty frustrated. But then there was a moment where I kept my head down. I kept focused. The scale really wasn't doing a whole lot. And then all of a sudden, everything started to click. This is exactly what I do with women in my coaching program is we first reset your foundation. We get your hormones balanced naturally. If we can't get them balanced naturally, then we may recommend some bioidentical HRT. And that's all good, again, with a competent provider and extensive lab work. And so going down this journey, when you're not seeing the results, when you're feeling frustrated, I can attest that this is a tough space. It's a tough place to be. But when you actually keep your head down and focused and you show up every day, you chop the wood, carry the water, when you realize that you're watering this bamboo tree and nothing is happening, quote unquote, until one day it just shoots up like, I want to say 12 or 18 feet is the story of the bamboo tree. That's what your body does, especially for my women in our 40s, late 40s, 50s, is you have to do the first steps, which is really resetting your foundation, getting yourself ready for fat loss. I remember the next 3 months, it was almost like I lit a match and my body just started burning fat. And when I looked up after, again, just 3 more short months, I was like, whoa. That happened pretty quick. And that's what I'm here to tell you. When you prime your body and you get the foundation firm and you get yourself ready for fat loss, it's amazing how, and I don't want to say quick, but how quickly you can lose the fat off your body. And, today I'm super giddy because tomorrow I'm actually going to do another in-body scan and see what my lean tissue is doing, because now I'm in a phase of wanting to put weight on. So actually seeing the scale go up, which is going to be, it's just a whole different mindset, but I want to put the lean tissue on. And I'm here to share this with you because you have to go through these steps. Step 1 is resetting your foundation. We got to get back to sleeping. We got to walk. We need to nourish our body well. We need to drink the water. And I know none of that sounds sexy, but I promise you, this is exactly what most women are missing. Then we have to get you to step 2, which is step 2 of my program, is we have to get you into rapid fat loss. And this is where you are head down, you are focused. And even for myself, it was just like, there were times that I said no to an extra treat. There was times when I reduced or eliminated alcohol. There were times where I absolutely pulled my portions. When we went to the restaurant, I absolutely ordered the salad that I actually didn't want, but whatever, it was a means to an end. And I'm here to tell you that when you're in this space now, you don't have to be as diligent. You don't have to be as head down focused. And it's a much more freeing space. The problem is most women never get there. Now I'm in the 3rd phase of my program, where this is true body optimization. This is where your goals change. This is where, we dig a little bit deeper under the hood. If you're interested, we've partnered with a really cool company that does over 125 biomarkers and just extensively tests your blood work and as far into genetics, epigenetics, if you're into that kind of stuff. But we can really optimize. And I will tell you, being in this space now, it has probably been one of the most interesting spaces to be in. So my message to you here today is we have to change. You have to make a decision that says, hey girl, I'm going to go all in on myself. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be challenging, but damn, is it going to be worth it? And I'm here to tell you, when you walk in your closet, literally, I went through my entire closet, got rid of a ton of stuff. And I actually even went shopping last weekend and got a whole new size for jeans. And I mean, ladies, that is a big deal. And I was actually a little pissed because I had just bought jeans, and we all know good jeans cost. And I'm just like, dang, I wish I could take these back. But anyways, how good does that feel? How good does it feel when you go into the dressing room and you can put on any jeans and it's like, just what size, right? And they all look good. So I'm here to tell you what is possible when you stop hiding, stop shrinking, stop putting yourself last. Okay. Start building a lifestyle that's going to work with your hormones, your life, your reality at this age, not against it. We cannot do the Orange Theory, F45, the HIIT type of, think of all your Group X classes that, quite frankly, we all love, myself included. Who doesn't love a good sweat, burn, kick your you-know-what type of workout? But I'm here to tell you that's actually working against you. So we have to start with some very small wins in this process. We have to start to strength train and understand what progressive resistance training looks like. We need to balance out your meals, get real, genuine sleep. See, I personally have worn this Aura ring for it's actually just shared this with me 4 years. And that's, again, to share with you guys, like even myself, I have been on this journey. Gosh, it's been probably a total of 6 years. And then 4 years is when I started to really dial things in. And then here in this last, I would say this is now 7-8 months of this journey, it's amazing how much deeper we can go into this. And I'm not shocked, but I'm also like, dang, this actually wasn't this hard. And I'm not special. I'm not different, but it is very intentional work that I have done. And this is what I help women do. And so when we get this real sleep, when we hydrate our body, when we focus on stress management, this is everything. Because when you have this layer of accountability, coaching, and support, you look at things differently. I know one of the biggest things that I help my clients do is really manage stress. You are going to have, fights with your spouse. You're going to have stress at work. You're going to have a kid that has something go on or they did something themselves. You're going to have an aging parent that you're going to have to work through. And this is called life. But when you understand how to navigate it, how you can still stay in control of you, how you can still take care of yourself, even when you're stressed, this is really the sweet spot. And so imagine waking up and all your clothes actually fit. Imagine getting dressed in 5 minutes because everything feels good. It's what color, right? Imagine walking into a room. This is my favorite. Imagine walking into a room and heads turn. It's just a different feeling. That version of you is not a fantasy. She's already there, okay? She's already in you. She's just waiting for you to show up for her. So just like you would do anything for your kid, I'm urging you to do this for yourself. When you do this for yourself, this is actually going to have a downstream effect. You're going to parent better. You're going to have more patience. You're going to be happier. You're going to fall in love with your spouse all over again. Your spouse is going to get in better shape because when you get in good shape, they're going to be inspired. And I think that's always a difficult one because I have women say to me, well, it's not like my husband's in great shape. Well, motivate him. And instead of telling him what to do, do it yourself, model the behavior and see what actually happens when he sees you working hard. He's going to follow suit. And as a byproduct, you guys are only going to grow closer. So the body isn't broken, not at all. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You're not just stuck this way. You have been settling. And I'm here to say that in love and empathy, and stop settling for fine. This is stealing all of your joy. This is stealing literally all of your happiness. When you decide that you're worth more than hiding under a bunch of Lycra, cardigans, and black, which is what I did, everything changes. You're going to have more opportunities in your life. You're going to have job opportunities. You're going to have career. You're going to have that business opportunity. I know for myself that everything in my life is coming full circle because I chose to go all in on myself. I chose to not just take the easy path. I chose to actually double down harder, even when it really didn't make sense. And my message for you here today is stop settling for fine. fine is just stealing your joy. It's time for you to go all in on yourself. And here's what I want you to do is I want you to reach out and say, hey girl, I need you as my coach, because this is what I do to help women. I'll help you reset your foundation. I'm going to show you exactly what to do from a nutrition workout. And then I'm going to coach and support you harder than anyone has ever coached and supported you before. You may have already purchased other coaching programs and it didn't work. And I'm sorry that it didn't, but I'm here to tell you it wasn't the right fit. And if you'll go all in on yourself and you match my intensity, guess what? You're going to win. So I hope this hits home. Again, if you feel called out, this is exactly how I felt. So I'm sharing with you personally what I have been through, but I also know that I'm not alone. All right, ladies, let's get after it.